probably realized that age maybe around 11 or 12. My dad had given me some instruction when I was younger, and with my friends, the leadership that he gave me, I started exhibiting that with my friends, and they started following. And at that point, I kind of realized that I could lead. Based on that, I cared about people, and that kind of was my first foray into leadership. Let me think, a childhood situation. You know what? When we were kids, we used to like to play sports. We always played football. We played touch football, and I get a crew together on my team, and we would. There was a couple of telephone poles, and we pole to pole. That's how we called it. Grew up on the west side on the hilltop, and I would say probably right then I pull a team together, and we'd call our little plays and get in the huddle, and for whatever reason, I always thought I was a little receiver, so I'd go run my routes and go like that. So I would say that would probably be the first time when that happened for me. I grew up on the hilltop, on the west side, on Midland Avenue. Went to John Burroughs Elementary, went to Hiltonia, went to West High School. And Hilltop was great. It was a good education. Everybody knew everybody. We'd walk to school together, we'd go to the Glenwood Park was our park. In the summertime, we'd be a Sunshine Pool. That was our pool. And then everybody knew everybody. Family knew everybody, parents knew everybody, kids knew everybody. And it was a great experience. Hilltop was great. I would say my life here would be my father. My dad, he was an old school father. He was there. A lot of times people talk about parents that are not around. My dad was a dad's dad. I mean, he was there for me in school. He was there in the home. And he would, give me guidance and correction if I needed it, and lots of correction. Kept me in the straight and narrow, kept me out of a lot of trouble. And the one thing about my dad that was interesting was that he not only parented me and my brother and my sister, but he also parented my friends that may have not had a father in the household. He would, of course, talk to their mothers and get permission, but my dad used to come up to school all the time, check on me. Come to visit me at the teachers and say, I'm coming up to see what you're doing. And he'd go down the street, talk to a couple parents, say, hey, I'm gonna go check on my son, check on his grades, talk to the teacher, see how he's acting in class. If you'd like, I'll check on your son too. And he would do that and come back and report to him. So I had a very strong father, and he made a impactful influence in my life, and showed me what was what to be a father and a man, and it's my hero. My favorite hobby, I would say, is photography. And how that happened to me was my dad used to always send me to camps. I went to all kind of camps as a kid, And I went to this one camp one time, and this guy, now I've always been a shutter bug, but I started out with the Kodak, Brownie, Instamatic cameras. Well, when I went to camp one time, this guy had a 35 millimeter, and I was in awe. My jaw dropped, and I came back, told my dad, hey Dad, I gotta have one of these. So I had one at 13. And I've always liked pictures. I got a gazillion pictures. I've always liked taking pictures. Photography has been my hobby. And I relax. I don't do it for money. I don't do it for notoriety. I do it for recreation. And a lot of people have said, man, you should do something with this, but for me, it's a hobby. And a hobby is something I enjoy, and I love it. I have a shy side. I know a lot of people don't think that, but I'm a little shy from time to time. Get quiet and reserved, but most of the time in the public eye, I talk a little bit, but I at times I'm shy. A little quiet and reserved, and they're like, what, you? No. But I do have a shy side too. Well, I had a couple of them. I don't know if I just have one, but I had a few friends. We like, for example, I had a guy, Jamie Rhodes. Jamie and I, we went to elementary school together. And we had been apart for a while, but we rekindled our relationship through Facebook last year. Now, the interesting thing about Jamie is this. His mother and my mother went to West High School together and graduated in the 40s. His grandmother and my grandmother were friends in the 1920s. So we have a long history of relationship. And I hadn't seen him in 27 years. We rekindled in Facebook, and I said, Jamie, let's go to a game. So last year we went to a Ohio State Penn State game. And we spent watching the game, but we spent that whole 3 hours rekindling what happened over the last 25, 30 years in our lives, his and ours. But we've stayed friends all these years. Artistry. I gotta go back to photography. I mean, I like taking pictures. I like sports photography, and I'll do a few things at concerts too. But I enjoy that. But I really like just taking them and then sharing them. Taking a look at them, making sure I can try to get the angles as good as I can, and learn about it, and try to make that happen. So that's relaxing for me, and I really enjoy it. That's my creative side. I'm a strawberry guy. I like the berries, I like the flavor, I like a little whipped cream on it. I like it in a milkshake, I like it in a sundae, but I've always been a strawberry guy. Not that big of a vanilla, because vanilla was always available. I needed something with some flavor to it, and strawberry seems to tickle my fancy. So I've always been a strawberry ice cream kind of guy. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to go back to the Bible, and my favorite quote would be, "In all thy get understanding in Proverbs, and trust in the Lord, with all thy heart, and lean not into thy own understanding." That's been my favorite, and that's carried me through most of my life, and that's been important to me, and I believe it's helped me be successful, and that's something that's near and dear to my heart. That last one that I just said would probably be that. Lean not into thy own understanding, and all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Those are words that I live by. The Lord has blessed me, the Lord has guided me, the Lord has, directed my path, and I've been following it. So those are words that I live by. So I would definitely say that would be my mantra. And I'm gonna continue to do that for all the days that I have on this earth. I would tell myself to, number one, understand that adversity is a part of life, and don't quit, and be prepared for challenges, and to lean into the wind. And my father used to say that all the time. At the time, I didn't understand, but too many times when adversity comes, and it's going to come, people shy away, people quit, people duck it, but it's part of life, and you just need to understand that, learn from your mistakes. Just look at mistakes as a setback, and look at mistakes as a lesson, and don't look at it as a defeat. That's something that I didn't understand early in my life. Understand that, learn from it, make the adjustments. I would say that's something else too. Don't do the same thing all the time. Look at it, make the adjustments, and then move forward. It took me a long time to understand that, but I got that now. Life is a series of adjustments. You got to make adjustments. It's almost like in football. The defense comes at you with the blitz. You got to do the hot read. You got to keep it moving until they change. But for right now, that's what you got to do. You got to do the hot read, get the ball out of your hand quick so you don't get sacked. So that's something that I've learned, and it's been helpful. Initially my parents lived on Oakley Avenue with my grandmother, and then they built up some funds and they bought a house on Midland Avenue. And I used to walk those streets, go through the neighborhoods. Like I said, go to Glenwood Park. One of the areas that we used to hang out was Oakley Baptist Church, because they used to have a rec center there. Pastor Ashburn, J. Jacob Ashburn, had a youth center there, and it was, everybody came over there. Potts, all of us, we was over at the J. Ashburn Center. And, grew up there, went to John Bros, used to walk to school every day. And the Hilltop, was a good area for me. It was, family, parents, and, grew up at Wayne Avenue Church. That was our church. Got a good, spiritual foundation there. And then from there, graduated high school. Didn't quite know what I wanted to do at that time in my life. So, Vietnam was hot and heavy, and I was concerned about Vietnam because the draft was alive. And one of the things that concerned me when I was younger was, as a sophomore, there were 2 seniors in our class. One was Hope and one was Shelton. And they got drafted. And before Christmas, both of them got killed in Vietnam. So I was horrified. I used to see them walking the halls every day at West High School. So I was horrified. So I knew for me, I couldn't draft dodge. And back then, people were talking about going to Canada. Nah, that ain't gonna work for me. Consequences are gonna be too hard. So I joined the Army. I said, well, right now I'm not sure, so I joined the Army. Now looking back on it, it was a good move. I wasn't sure right then, but the one thing I was sure of, if I joined, I could avoid the draft and possibly avoid going to Vietnam. Right after I joined, 2 months after I raised my right hand and swore in, they stopped the draft. And Vietnam War was winding down. But I went in, gave me some good instruction, some good education, some good discipline. The Army did, you know what I'm saying? And you know what? You see a lot of times where, especially when kids go to college initially, they have the fraternities and, they keep those. For me, the Army is my fraternity. I respect the military. I know what it's like to sit in a foxhole in a foreign land at 2 o'clock in the morning and look across Constantine Wire, because I was in 2nd Division when I was in Korea, right at the DMZ. And I remember sitting in that foxhole looking across. I could see the Constantine Wire, the moon was bright, and I could see North Korean soldiers. So I know what that's like, and I respect our military, especially our troops on foreign soil. And if I could just put a plug in here for the troops, I feel that any troop that comes back to the United States that's had a challenge, whether it's PTSD or whatever, we need to take care of them. We need to not take them through any type of red tape. They were willing to make the ultimate sacrifice so that you and I could be free. Now, if they have a problem, because of, being on foreign soil, conflict or whatever, take care of them. Take care of them. There's not but 1% of the population that are veterans anyway. Ain't that big of a fraternity. Take care of them. Treat them right. I have a strong feeling for veterans. And then after I did my military time, came back and worked at DFAS for 1 year. And then got my real estate license. Was working at DFAS and real estate part-time. And then I never forget it, I was working in building 12. And that's a long building, big giant building on DFAS. Remember standing in the middle of the building. At that time I was working janitorial. And I looked down the hall forward, then I looked behind me, and it felt like I was looking at, here's the future, there's the past. And I decided to take a jump. I was 22. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do this real estate thing full time. I got $123 car payment. I ain't married, no kids. I jumped. Didn't really have a plan, but I jumped. No regrets. Did some hard knocks because I didn't really have a plan, but I jumped. Caught a lot of flack. People were saying you shouldn't do this, but I didn't care. It was my dream. I said, I want to try this entrepreneurial thing. And it worked. Took some sweat equity, some tears, but it worked, and I'm glad of it, and like anything in life, you gotta have risk, I call it shaking the dice. you got to be willing to shake the dice, you know? And if you are, you know, the rewards are out here. Yeah. And so from there, you know, I got started, you know, after about 5 or 6 years, got my broker's license. A couple of years after that, opened up Vision Realty, and, you know, just kept working at it, just kept hitting it. Made mistakes along the way, had some setbacks, had some challenges, but, you know, I just continued to persevere, you know? And for me, it was like, there wasn't an option. You know, it's either sink or swim. You know, like I'm in the ocean, I'm 5 miles for shore. Am I gonna stop? I gotta keep going. I see the shore now, I might slow down a little bit, but I gotta keep going because, you know, stop is not an option. So I just kind of kept it going.